There's a lot of you out there that need this message, and I have learned a lot from this message over the years. Want to make sure that I'm a voice for joy. The first time I heard this idea was Dennis Prager talks about happiness and how happiness is a choice, and you cannot inflict your bad mood on the world like you would inflict your bad hygiene. And I have learned happiness and joy, and partially because I have realized that it's much more enjoyable to be around people who are happy and be around people who enjoy life. So I want to be one of those people. The other thing that I realized is that most people who are grumpy for usually pretty terrible reasons. The reason I was thinking about this recently is because Elder Kieran, I'm pretty sure it's Elder Kieran, talked about, actually I looked it up not too long ago to be able to get a quote, talked about being grumpy. Through the goodness and grace of our Savior, we can have fresh starts that propel change in old mindsets, bad habits, grumpy dispositions, negative attitudes, feelings of powerlessness, and tendencies to blame others and avoid personal responsibility. And when he said that, for some reason, grumpy dispositions stood out to me. And so I went back and looked at the corpus, and the word grump or grumpy has been used one time in many, many years of General Conference. And I thought that was such a fun thing to say, grumpy dispositions, because there are people that take pride in their grumpy dispositions. And we all know who we are. And again, we all do it for various reasons, not very good reasons. I think a lot of them are actually pretty insidious reasons. But a lot of people are grumpy, and they'll say that, like, oh, I'm just a grumpy old man, or oh, he's just a grumpy old man. And the women they don't tend to use grumpy for women, they tend to use negative. Ah, she's so negative, or I'm sorry, I'm just so negative today. And that is not a virtue. It's not a virtue. And if it's not a virtue, it's a vice. And I believe this vice is particularly ensnaring, because being grumpy gives you a sense of power over other people, because people start to walk on eggshells around you, even if you're just negative. People walk around you like they're on eggshells. They're kind of a nervous energy around you, like, oh, don't make them mad because they're grumpy people. You don't want to cross them because you don't know if they'll start to escalate. And this is not good. This is not a virtue. So you who are out there that know that you are grumpy, know that that this is not pleasant to be around. You are not pleasant to be around. And they need to work on it. Like, fix it now. And it's a hard thing for those who know that they're grumpy and want to fix it and don't really know how. The softening of the heart is very difficult to just change overnight. But with practice, it can definitely be done. If you are around grumpy people or negative people, the advice that I typically get and give is that of basically advice when you're with somebody. Like, if you're married to someone who's emotionally abusive, verbally abusive, or controlling, or manipulative, narcissistic, a lot of these things, not to an extreme degree, but to the very normal degree, which most of us are in marriages and relationships that are painful to one degree or another. What you do is you just tell them the truth. Like, you tell them your honest opinion of what's going on, not in like a try and fix them kind of way, but in an observant kind of way. So, they say something grumpy and you respond with, oh, it sounds like you're not in a very good mood. I guess I'll give you some space. And that's a pretty good way to kind of wake them up to, like, oh, I guess I am in a grumpy mood because that's what I do. And I guess, I'm not fun to be around. And if they want space, that's probably why they're grumpy. And so you can continue with that same honest and open talk of, like, it seems like You get grumpy when you want space. Instead of getting grumpy, you could just ask for space. You could just say, I'd like some space right now, instead of getting grumpy. And if you don't want to ask for space, you could always just leave and just create space for yourself. Like, it seems so silly, but this is really a revolutionary idea for a lot of people. And again, a lot of people like it's to have a grumpy detector, a good one, is really difficult because you start to realize that there are a lot of grumpy people in the world, like tons and tons and tons of grumpy people. There are families, like moms and dads, sons and daughters, families of 5, 10, 20, 50 people, and every single one of them is a grumpy person. And those are the people that come back from the family activities and you're like, oh, how'd it go with your family? And they're like, but yeah, because they're just not fun to be around. Because everybody's grumpy. Nobody's there to have a good time. Everybody's there to like blame. And what does Elder Kieran say? Tendency to blame others and avoid personal responsibility. That sentence that I read, man, that is just a gold mine of just, yeah, you could write several general conference talks on just the one sentence. It's a fascinating concept of just pulling out grumpy and all of the different traits, blame and stuff, pulling that out and calling that a sin, and then trying to wake people up to like, your grumpiness is affecting people and it's not Christ-like, and you need to turn that around. And people have a hard time with that because they feel like their grumpiness is a virtue. They feel like grumpy is the way they get things done, the way they get their life to work, the way they get people to do what they say, the way they get things to show up for them. And grumpiness is just a manipulation tactic. It's a way to be shielded and guard your vulnerability and not expose your heart to people so that you don't have to get hurt. Instead, you hurt other people, or at least, they walk around on eggshells like they're going to get hurt. So yeah, think about it. If you're a grumpy person, why are you grumpy? And if you know grumpy people, why are they grumpy? And if you've been working on not being grumpy, what is it that's helped? Why is it difficult to stop? I'd be curious. Fun topic. See ya.